Okay, and we are back with more Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. So here's our Minotaur Berzerker. We found a pretty sweet Executioner's Axe that we shouldn't probably not be using quite yet, but what the heck. Cool cloak that summons rats for us, so hey, that's good. More importantly, it has our poise, because we're about to go into the lair, which has lots of poisonous creatures. It also has lots of sort of amphibians and reptiles, which our freezing axe will help us out with, because it can slow cold-blooded creatures. So here we are in the lair. This is also a good place to sort of dump your unwanted stuff. So these are spiny frogs. They are a pain in the ass. They can do 26 points of damage and poison you, so things can go bad very quickly. So I'm just going to clear this area out a bit. Okay. Now we have some kind of teleporter down here. So this is a player ghost. This is a ghost of somebody who died in the dungeon, so they'll kind of have their abilities and stats. They used to just find them wandering around. Now they're in these, usually behind some kind of vault. So there's nothing super interesting in there. If we were a magic user, maybe the spell book. Here's an amulet. Let's see, do we have an amulet right now? We do not. These have some potential ugly things that can go wrong with them, so we're going to identify this one. So this one's an Amulet of Faith. Amulet of Faith kind of boosts your piety, so it helps you use your god skills more, which is good for us because we have a lot of good skills. We can berserk, we can call in, angry trolls and ogres to help us. So I am going to put that on because those skills consume your piety, so the Amulet of Faith will keep your piety going. So here we have our Hydra. Hydras are very problematic, so you probably know the story from Greek mythology where you cut their heads off and two regain their place. So it's the same here, so things can get ugly pretty quickly. But we have this flaming Executioner's Axe. So again, like in mythology, this will cut off the heads and prevent them from growing back. So we should be able to handle this. Hopefully. We'll find out. Yep, you can see the heads disappearing. If we were hitting him with a regular axe, the heads would be growing. And we'll take out this hippogriff. And then we will go back to the +8 axe. Potion to heal wounds. This is a Black Mamba. They are very fast, poison you very well. So you can see that he is slowed now. So he's been affected by the freezing axe. So that's handy to have a freezing weapon when you're in lair, because there's a lot of creatures who are susceptible. So check our skills. We want to take our axes all the way up to, well, actually, we want to change that to 26 for Executioner's Axes. So right now we're just changing axes. I will train some dodging too. Sometimes it's kind of tricky to know when to train dodging versus armor. Dodging helps you evade an attack, armor helps you mitigate the damage. So do you pump all armor? Do you do some dodging? People vary, and I'm far from an expert, so we'll just do a little bit of both. And I'll bring fighting up to 10. So we'll keep going. So this is a porcupine. He's spiny, so he can do additional damage to you, but not really a problem for us. Wand of Disintegration. And again, with our cleaving, we took that crocodile out without even having to focus on him. So the lair has 6 levels, so we're going to go down to the bottom of lair, and then we will try to find the Orcish mines. Find some boomerangs. Right now we haven't really picked a projectile weapon, and we do have wands, so it's debatable if it's necessary. I think we'll probably go with throwing. We have some throwing nets and some boomerangs, but for now I just want to focus on getting my axes up. And we don't need the war axe anymore, or we don't need either war axe. So that's the first level of the lair. We have a decent amount of rations, so I'm going to go ahead and eat. On to layer 2. Crocodiles are kind of tough, especially in water, but nothing to be worried about. Water moccasin. These can also poison you. And we're just sort of auto exploring. So these are blink frogs. They're a pain in the ass. They deal a decent amount of damage and they blink around like crazy. One of them is slowed. This guy's slowed. Okay. Chop them up good. An unknown scroll. Take these guys out. Got the porcupine. Wyverns are kind of a pain. They can do 20 damage, but again, we're not super worried. So, in the lair, you will also find the entrances to a couple of branches that we'll want to come back and visit later. And this is the first one, spider. So we want to. These guys can be problematic because again, they can all do. They have poisonous attacks and they can web you. So I have you can see if I try to rest, it says I have a lethal amount of poison in my body. So I definitely need to cure, or I could maybe do Trog's Hand, but I'll just go ahead and cure. So I do have poison resistance from the rat skin cloak, but that doesn't prevent you from being poisoned. It just makes it harder. So that is the end of layer 2. So we're going down to 3. So it says you feel an oppressive heat about you. So this is a timed vault here, if we can find it. But we need to see if we have any RF resist fire. Oh yeah, RX has it, so we're good. So occasionally when you come to a new dungeon floor, it'll announce sort of like a timed vault. So you have a certain amount of time to find it. It's optional. You just get extra stuff if you go through it. It's not needed to win the game. Take more strength. Strength 29. See if we can find... Okay, so here's another Hydra. So we want to switch to our Flaming Axe. Chop his heads off. Trog grants us another weapon. We're kind of in a hurry to find this vault, so I'll come back for that later. Oh! So here's some fire up here, so it's going to be up here. I think we're going to miss it, but we'll try to get there. Okay. So, this is the volcano. Ideally, you want to come in here with some resist fire, which we have on the +1 Executioner's Axe, so we should be good. So there'll be a lot of fire-themed creatures in here. So our Flaming Axe isn't going to do awesome against them, but it will protect us with their resist fire, which we need. So these guys are just going to plink at us. I could try to use my Ice Blast Wand, although it doesn't seem to be doing all that much to them. There we go. And then he'll just fly in here to attack us. This is a Molten Gargoyle, so he does 20 points of damage plus up to 14 fire damage, and he can shoot a bolt spell at you, so they're kind of a pain in the ass. Here's an Earth Elemental, just nothing to worry about. Okay, here's a little vault. So here is an Ifrit. So he has some decent fire spells and can do some damage and has a fire scimitar, but with RF we should be fine. So our axe is giving us 1 point of fire resistance. So we're not, so +4 scimitar flaming is nice, but we're sticking with axes. Here's a battle axe of flaming. I don't think we really need it, but I will take it. There's a couple armors. These are, yeah, plate armor of fire resistance. Okay, we have too much crap. I should have dumped some more stuff. We can use read some of these scrolls. There's a battle axe of flaming, I guess. Scroll of summoning. So now we have an Ifrit of our own. Scroll of fog. Which can be handy if you're stuck out in the open. You can break line of sight. Scroll of fear. Blink, which we just wasted, but we need some points. Okay, so grab this armor, fire resistance, and this armor. So the first one is +2. Second one is +1. Okay, so we'll drop +1. Fire resistance is one of the main resistances you want for the game, so you could really use this, wear this straight through to the end. Here's a demon trident of flaming. We don't need that. Let's see, do I have any enchant armor? I do have some enchant armor, so I'm going to enchant up this plate. So it's +2, +3, +4. So now I have +5 plate of fire resistance, which is very nice. Okay, so we're going to keep going. So these flame clouds will do some damage, but the resist fire will help us out. Take care of these guys. Oh, is that all there is? Okay, I guess this is a pretty small one. Maybe it wasn't the greatest idea. Do we still have that ring of fire? We do not. That's unfortunate. I'm gonna check and see if this happens to be the ring of -2 intelligence. That's not gonna help us. We should be okay, I guess. Maybe not. There we go. It's going down. Okay. So yeah, it's just a fun little vault. You can get some stuff. So it was like got a bunch of fire themed stuff. So we will head out here, take care of this guy, and then we will go back to our +8 freezing axe. We're gonna drop some stuff. We'll just wait for the next level and make a little trove. Right, so here's another Hydra, so we're going to switch back to our flaming axe. Porcupine. Okay, so we're going to make... I'm going to go ahead and make a stash here. I usually make a stash somewhere in vaults of things I don't really need. Like I don't need the battle axes. Whoops. put our gloves back on. We don't need the chainmail. We have +5 plate of fire resistance. Don't need Cursed Ring of Intelligence. We don't need Poison Resistance Ring right now. We may need it later. Probably have some extra wands we don't really need. Random effects, kind of blech. We're not going to do polymorph. We'll keep the others for now. And then you can hit the pipe key, and you can sort of pick and choose what you want to pick up and what you don't want to pick up. Like Wand of Random Effects here as a plus, that means I'll still pick it up if I'm auto-exploring. So if I hit Q, then I will no longer pick that up. I can do that with some of these rings too. Like I don't care about Rings of Intelligence or Rings of Magic Power, or Rings of Flight. So then I just won't auto-pick those up anymore. So now we have some open slots, so we're good. And we will keep going. So now we're on layer 4. There's a lot of stuff there. I think we can handle it though. We can Berzerker call some brothers in arms in if we need to. Cool. So this is, let's see. Okay, so this is the swamp. This is the second branch that we're gonna head into later on. We're gonna get to the bottom of, it'll be a while before we come back here if we live long enough. So there are 4 possible sub-branches in layer, and 2 are randomly chosen each time you play. I think there was a crossbow back there. You may want to grab that. Arbalest. Okay, so I'm going to drop the sling bullets, drop the stones, and drop the arrows. So we're going to go with crossbow, I think. And then if we check our shopping list, scroll of teleportation. All right. So now I want to focus on axes, but later on we might train up some crossbow. Here's a Komodo dragon. These guys are kind of pain in the ass, can bite for up to 34 points of damage, but you should be alright. Another blink frog. He's been slowed. Trog grants us another weapon. Actually, I think we missed one of Trog's gifts. So this is a broad axe. This is the best one-handed axe you can get. If we were going shields, we'd want that, but I think we're good with our Executioner's Axe. But if you missed a gift, you can search. You can just search on gift. So there was a runed Executioner's Axe on layer 3. So if we want, we could just hit B, and that'll show us where it is, and we get to enter, and we can just go there. So I'm going to pick that up, and we can see what it is. So +1 Vorpal Executioner's Axe. Vorpal is just a generic extra damage. Like it's not, like if you have a freeze brand, it may not hurt cold creatures, but it does better against fire creatures. But Vorpal just sort of does some extra damage to everybody. But our +8 Executioner's Axe is way better, so we're going to go back down and clear out the rest of layer 4. Okay, on to layer 5. Scroll of Enchant Armor. Whoops. So now we have +6 plates. Now we're up to 29 AC, which is good. Bunch of sheep here. Crocodile. So yeah, so probably like a lot of you, or some of you, I have been working at home this week. But I work in communications, so I'm working way more than I usually would, so that blows. So it's a cursed ring of -3 strength. We'll just want to get rid of that. And what do we want to put on? Put on resist corrosion and drop the ring of magic power. Axes are up to 20. Dodging's up to, let's see. I think fighting up to 12 for some extra points. Maybe like armor up to 9. You can just sort of watch and you'll see once you bring your armor up to a certain point, it'll boost your AC. I'm sure there's some kind of formula, but I don't usually pay attention to those. Some blink frogs. Okay, so now we're going to the last level of lair, which can get pretty hectic. So we'll see. So there'll be various random types of endings you get. Check out these gloves. We just have plain gloves right now. +1, it's better than nothing. So we'll drop the plain gloves. Try to not expose too much of the dungeon until we know what's going on. There's another enchant weapon scroll. So again, I can't enchant this anymore because it's not just sort of a base weapon. These are fixed stats that you can't change. There's the entrance to swamp. That's sort of slime. It's an optional branch with, and here's the god Jiva, which sometimes you see, sometimes you don't. You probably won't go in there. It's a little dicey. So this must be okay. So hornets are a little tricky because they can potentially paralyze you with their poison. So I may just call in a brother in arms just in case I get paralyzed. Spriggans. We're making use of our cleaving. So Bulgarts are kind of a pain because they can call in all sorts of nasty reinforcements. So we'll want to make sure he gets taken out. And so here's a Spriggan riding a hornet, which is fun. So I'm going to call in another brother in arms just in case. Okay, so somewhere there's a gift. Runed Greatsword. Yeah, sometimes they'll give you stuff you don't really want. So at this point we will have a ton of axe skill. We definitely do not want to switch to long swords at this point, but usually you get pretty decent gifts. So this is a dream sheep. So he can put you to sleep, which can be, they're not especially dangerous on their own, but usually there's nasty stuff behind them. So I'm going to bring in a brother in arms just in case I get put to sleep. Polar bear. So yeah, so he started summoning a bunch of crazy stuff. Cursed -3 dagger. Been pretty uneventful for the layer 6 of lair, but let's see. Another ring to try out. Ring of Fire, that gives us some extra fire resistance, but gives us some negative cold resistance. It's more useful if you're a spellcaster because it also boosts your fire spell damage, so I think we're okay as it is. Go back to the ring resist corrosion. So yes, he brought some of the basilisk, which can paralyze you, which is not fun. So yes, I've been playing this, like I said, 3 or 4 years now, and I didn't win my first game until, I don't know, probably a couple of years ago. It's, unless you go into the wikis or watch a bunch of Let's Plays, there's a bunch of stuff that, you know, you'll turn a corner and it'll just instantly kill you because you don't know how to deal with it. So it's definitely tricky, but there's so many combinations of classes and races. It's just a lot to get into, and you know, just a bunch of random weapons and equipment. The other day I found like a plus 22 plate armor or something crazy like that, and then I died like 10 turns later because I was an idiot. So it looks like we cleared layer 6. It was actually pretty non-eventful. Sometimes there's some crazy setups, but this one was pretty basic. Okay, so I'm gonna go back up to layer 3. I think that's where we dropped off some stuff. Some people will do this. They'll build a little cache of equipment so they can come back to it later. I mean, technically with the control find, you can just find whatever you want wherever, so it's not really necessary. So looks like we have some unidentified potions. Cancellation, that'll help with some nastier effects that curing won't do anything about. And then this Berserk Rage, we don't really need that. We can do that whenever we want because we're Berserker. We have an unidentified scroll. I'll use one of these identify scrolls on it. Scroll of Immolation. I usually don't mess with those. It sort of puts everybody around you in an immolated state, and then they start blowing up as you hit them. So it's a little advanced for me. Okay, so we are done with the lair. So I'm going to go up. And I think the entrance to the lair is... I mean, we could probably go in there if we wanted to, but where is the exit to the lair? Oh well. So you can just, if I want to go back to the dungeon, I can just say go Shift G and then D for dungeon, and then I'm back out here through the exit where we started. So next thing we want to do is go ahead and find the Orcish mines, which I don't think we've found yet. Yeah. So if you pull up the overview, this will kind of just give you an overview of the dungeon. So these are all the gods you found, you know, where shops and troves are. Here's that trove we found. Any notes, like on layer 1, we found that vault with the ghost. So you can see it's also the dungeon. So we've done 10 floors of the dungeon. We found the swamp on layer 4. We found spider on layer 2. So orc is going to be somewhere between dungeon 9 and dungeon 12. So maybe we'll find it down here. So we've also found the roar of battle. So that's another timed vault that maybe we'll get to do. Do I have any? I do have a magic mapping. I don't know if I want to waste it to find that. There are some time vaults you definitely want to find. Other, so here's Orc. So here's the Orcish mines, and here's a bunch of undead trolls and orcs and goblins. Shouldn't be too terrible. They'll probably just call in a couple of brothers in arms, maybe. Maybe not. Just to help out a little bit. Draw some fire. Trog grants us another weapon. Let's see what it is. If it's like a battle axe or electrocution or something, it might be worth switching for a bit. +4 battle axe of flaming. We have the executioner's axe of flaming, so we won't bother with that. We'll drop that. So we found our orc. I'm going to go ahead and clear out the rest of the level first, though. So scroll of teleportation. It's a shield, but again, we're not doing shields. Oh, okay, so here's going to be... Okay. So this is, I forget. This is called, you can get Control P to sort of look at your logs. Yeah, this is the Bailey. So it'll be various sort of like little castle fort type things. The loot isn't necessarily the greatest, but you'll pick up a lot of like projectiles and stuff like that. Just bringing up brothers in arms to help a little bit. You might find some good stuff. Nothing too scary. Again, there's a lot of randomness. So here is some glowing silver javelins. We'll take those. So this one looks like it's going to be pretty small. Sometimes they're a little bit more involved, and they're themed around different creatures. Like there's an orc themed vault. Scroll of blinking is very nice. Scroll of teleportation. We don't need the short sword. So that's that. Just a little extra, you know, a little extra XP. Hungry Ghost. He will up your sort of hunger very quickly, so he can potentially be a pain in the ass. It's a Ring of Poison Resistance. We already have that one, so we can come in here. We don't really want to pick up any more Rings of Poison Resistance or Strength, really, or Fire. So here's a shop. One of the nice things about Orcish Mines is there's a lot of gold, and usually it 4 shops at the bottom, so we'll see what we have here. Nothing really better than our Executioner's Axe. So we will keep ready for the Orcish Mines. It's a troll. They can be a bit painful, and they can also leave troll leather armor, which boosts your regeneration. Okay, so we got this cleared out. Okay, so we're going to go into Orcish Mines. Orcish Mines is 2 levels. I think it used to be 4 or more. They tend to sort of change things and streamline them as we go. People have various opinions about that, but the nice thing is you can always just pick up the older versions and play them if you want. Another weapon. So since we have that Amulet of Faith, makes it easy to please your god. So basically it boosts our piety. So we can use our god abilities more often, and we'll be getting more gifts than we otherwise would. And what did he gift us? He gifted us, yeah, here's some troll leather armor. That troll dropped some. Glowing glaive. Yeah, we don't really want a glaive, so we're thanks but no thanks, Trog. And with our cleave, we can just sort of wade through these guys. The first floor of Orc is usually not too scary. The second one tends to ramp up the difficulty. And a lot of times this top floor is broken up. So let's see. So like I said, there'll be should be three lower staircases. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So yeah, so somewhere probably over here is another little part. And so let's see, do I have a digging? Yeah, so I do have a digging one. So I like to try to clear this out if we can, if I have the spare scrolls of magic mapping, because you never really know how ugly it's going to get down here. So yeah, so here's the rest of the vault, and if I put my wand of digging, I can sort of get in here. Take these guys out. Rest up. Keep clearing this out. So yes, here I'm netted, but I'll be able to, with my strength, I'll be able to break out pretty quickly. So let's see. So for throwing, do we want to do throwing or crossbows? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay. So on to Orc 2. So here's where it gets kind of ugly. So these guys are all berserked by this Orc Knight. So he can do a decent amount of damage. So yeah, he has Battle Cry, which berserks guys around him, but we should be okay. So Orc Sorcerers can be a pain. This one has Bolt of Fire, Summon Demon, Bolt of Draining, and Paralyze. He's got a low chance to paralyze us, but need to be careful of him. So there he's summoning demons. Okay, got him. See, Trog appreciates your killing of a magic user. Trog does not like magic. Too injured to fight recklessly. There's a lot of customization you can do. Like I tend to Battle Axe of Electrocution. It's +0 though, so I don't think we'll mess with it. I tend to tab too much and end up dying, so I set my warning level high. It says your hit points are too low. I've customized that, so it warns me pretty quickly. So far, not too scary. Again, like some of the other, most of the other vaults, there's different sort of endings to the branch. It can vary. Like there's one ending floor of ogre one ending floor of orc that just have tons of ogres coming after you. There's one that has little entrance to hell. There's various options. So again, keeps it pretty fresh. You're getting different stuff each time, in theory. So here is one. It's like I say, there's usually 4 shops on Orc. So here is one of them. Oh yeah, we visited this already. Nothing too exciting here. I usually wait to see them all before I start spending any money, unless there's just something amazing. So it looks like this is the end vault. I don't think I've seen this one before. I haven't seen it very often. So yeah, he's trying to bolt us. So do a brother in arms just to help out, because there's a lot of dudes here. So he can probably bolt us. There's an Orc High Priest who can also smite and summon. So I mean, we do have a 2-headed ogre. So I am going to read a teleport. I don't want to be here anymore. Trog grants us another weapon. Okay. So we're teleported back out here. Come up a level where it's safe. Rest, come back, and reset. So we got 2 sorcerers who can bolt us. So now I'm drained, so my skills are down a little bit. those two high priests can smite us. It's gonna get around here where they can only. I'm gonna come up. There we go. Okay, yeah, so this was the end vault. So here's our shops. So that was an extra shop. You usually only get 4. So let's see what we got. Captain's Cutlass is pretty cool. You can has the capability to suddenly relieve opponents of their weapons, dealing extra damage in the process. So yeah, we're sticking with axes, but that can be fun. You can disarm monsters that have weapons. So boots of running are awesome because they boost your speed. So we're absolutely want to buy those. So we will wear those and drop our regular boots. So you can see now over here under time, when I move, it's increments of 0.9. So it just speeds you up a little bit, which can be handy when you want to run away. Boring armor. Let's see, what do we have here? A couple of artifact spears, hand crossbow, iridescent hunting sling. Nothing too exciting. So kind of anticlimactic as far as the shops go, but the boots of running are nice. So this is Elf, which is the Elven Halls, which is kind of an optional branch. We'll probably try this because we'll have a decent amount of magic resistance, but there's just a bunch of elves to kill. There's nothing you really need in here. So I guess we haven't talked about it, but to win the game you need to go to Zot and get the Orb of Zot and bring it back out. And to get in there you need at least 3 runes from different branches. So there's no rune in Dungeon or Orc or Lair. Get them in the Lair sub-branches and a bunch of other places we'll find along the way if we get that far. So there's 15 runes in total. To win a game you need at least 3. So yeah, so that was the Orcish Mines. I don't think there's anything else we want to buy in here. I guess we could check that sling just to see. It's only 156 gold. So we can see if it's something amazing. Cursed -1 Sling of Evil. Vorpal, Fragile, Arpoise, MP +9, Strength +4. So Fragile means if you unwield it, it breaks, and it's only a +1 hunting sling, so we're obviously unwielding that. And we need to remove Curse, so we will drop that. And it's asked me if I really want to do it because it's going to break. Pick you up. So I guess we'll do. Crossbows. So I'll pick up this hand crossbow to get us started. So what I'm going to do is set the Executioner's Axe to be letter A. And then I'm going to set the hand crossbow to be letter B. And you do that with the equal sign. Equals, and you can pick items. And so when they're A and B, you can hit the apostrophe to switch between them. So now you have an easy way to switch between these two. And I will, let's see, bring armor up to 10, bring crossbows up to 4. We haven't used any of our rats. We should probably do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our stash on layer 3. Let's see if there's anything we can get rid of. I think we're not going to do throwing, so we can drop the boomerangs and the javelins. I'll keep the nets. They're kind of a good emergency escape if something's kicking your ass. Potions of stabbing, I'll drop those, and I will stop picking those up. We have one unidentified scroll. Holy word. That's good against undead, like that massive undead orcs we saw earlier, so that'll be good to have. Okay, so that was Lair and Orc. From here we will finish Dungeon and Beyond, and we will get to that next time. Thanks!